Seerah Course Episode 8. Prophet Muhammad saw a dream in which he saw himself circumambulating around the Kaaba. With around 1,500 companions, he headed toward Mecca. Intending to perform Umrah, the minor pilgrimage, the Muslims were unarmed and in their ihram clothing, with 70 camels for sacrifice. Upon receiving news of their arrival, the Meccans dispatched a delegation of 200 men to Hudaybiyah, where the Prophet and his companions had decided to camp just outside the city of Mecca. Being unwelcoming of the first envoy sent by the Prophet to explain why they were there, the Quraysh were sent Uthman bin Affan, who had an influence through family ties inside Mecca. The Quraysh were adamant about not allowing the Muslims to come in for Umrah, while in the meantime rumors had spread that Uthman had been killed by them. This made the Muslims furious, and the Prophet had taken an oath from them to fight at all costs if the news of Uthman bin Affan turned out to be true. Seeing the resolve of the Muslims, the Quraysh released Uthman and sent Suhail ibn Amr to negotiate on their behalf. After a short period of negotiations, the two sides reached an agreement. According to the agreement, the Muslims were to go back to Medina and return back the following year, staying no more than 3 days in Mecca. Any Meccan escaping to Medina would have to be returned, while it not being reciprocated if anyone from Medina had escaped to Mecca. The agreement included a 10-year truce, allowing the safety and security of trade caravans and pilgrims in each party's respective areas of governance. The two sides were allowed to make new alliances with other tribes in the region, and the respective allies of each party would be protected under this treaty. Although the companions were dissatisfied with the signing of this treaty for many valid reasons, the Prophet went ahead with the agreement, making a commitment to uphold it. What was initially viewed as unfavorable for the Muslims was in fact the greatest political success of Prophet Muhammad, as Islam began to spread at a much faster rate after the incident. The Quran says about the incident, "Verily we have granted you a manifest victory, that Allah may forgive you for what preceded of your sin and what will follow, and complete His favor upon you and guide you to the straight path, and that Allah may aid you with a mighty victory." Surah Al-Fath, verses 1 through 3. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah ended the hostility between the Muslims and the Quraysh of Mecca. It allowed Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to reach out to other tribes and openly present to them the message of Islam with freedom and ease. Less than 2 years after, one of the tribes allied with the Quraysh carried out an attack on a tribe allied with the Muslims. The Prophet demanded from the Quraysh to either abandon their alliance with the aggressor tribe or pay blood money. Accepting neither option, Abu Sufyan, one of the chiefs of Mecca, came to Medina in hopes of renewing the treaty, only to be turned away. This was a breach of the agreement they had agreed upon, and it led Prophet Muhammad to decide on an expedition to Mecca. Some of the tribes allied to him were instructed to join the ranks in Medina, while others were told to join along the way, helping to conceal the total number of men headed towards Mecca. The Muslims were also able to successfully intercept letters sent for the Quraysh. The Muslims arrived just outside Mecca with 10,000 men, causing panic among the Meccans. Abu Sufyan, sent by the Quraysh to negotiate, was offered to enter into Islam by the Prophet. In a surprising turn of events, Abu Sufyan returned back to Mecca having accepted Islam, advising the Meccans to surrender. Mecca had fallen in the hands of Muslims just 8 years after the Prophet was compelled to leave the city. While entering the city, the Prophet ordered his commanders not to fight unless attacked, not to pursue those who fled, and not to kill anyone who were wounded or captive. Nobody's possessions were taken, and no property was harmed. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, entered Masjid al-Haram, kissed the black stone, and made tawaf around the Kaaba. He then purged the Kaaba of any idols, and asked Bilal to climb up to the top and give the call for prayer. Most of the people in Mecca had entered into Islam that day. The day of the conquest is referred to as the Day of Mercy.